the Post-Employment Benefits Committee meeting of Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Thank you all for being here. Anyway, Jennifer, I think the issue really is we probably, this is probably could be considered a preliminary meeting. And I think once KMS comes in at the end of the year, we should have a perhaps mid-January meeting to kind of review where we stand on all of these issues, where the pension fund is and where the OPEB fund is. And you'll be starting the budgeting process for town meeting in the spring. So we can just emphasize what Katie was just talking about and our policy that the select board for the last several years has approved. Certainly,
yeah, I just want to let you all know, just so you know, I just want to give you a little bit more information, is that, so I started here October 3rd, and there's only 2 people in my office, and the person in my office gave his notice and his last day was today. So right now I am a one-man band, and I need to keep the day-to-day finances going, pay the bills, make sure payroll gets paid, you know, and do all that. And meanwhile, I'm trying to, you know, get, you know, keep, you know, it's so important for us to keep up with our free cash getting certified, tax rate getting certified, which we did, getting the audit done. The audit needs to be done in a timely manner, and all that plays into our bond rating. So I just want to let you know, I'm totally stretched thin as I walk into a new community, learning a new software system. So I'm going to ask you for your patience as I weed through this. Now, I will jump into the pension assessment and all of that as I'm putting the budget together and start putting some preliminary numbers together. The budget memo, hopefully to the department heads, will go out in the next couple days. But I just wanted to let you all know that, you know, Don, he did a great job, you know, and if he was here, he could probably run that whole office all by himself, but I can't.
yeah,
I just don't have the capacity, and I'm just too new to Cohasset and the policies and procedures to be able to do that. So I am really, and I've had a resignation in the treasurer collector's office as well. So we've got a lot going on. So I ask you for your patience for
absolutely.
And
we will with you as Katie
ball
said,
rolling.
Yeah, as Katie said, she will help with some of the work that we've done to bring you up to speed. I certainly will, and I know Paul will. We just need to make sure that you're on board with where this process is going and the various moving parts. I will make a little pitch at a special town meeting coming up about PEB, which I always do. People are getting used to that now. The more times I say it, the more times, hopefully it's embedded in the psyche of the select board and everybody else. But then, you know, perhaps after the first of the year, as you start to, you know, get more ingrained in all of this and see where that's going, we'll have another meeting and move this forward. We just want to really make sure that the community understands where we are and particularly the select board that has the final say on the budget.
Yeah, and the other thing that I'm jumping into, just, and we kind of talked about it, I think, beforehand too, the other is attending the long-term planning meetings. And I know that they want a model set up for, you know, January. I'm working on some things to present in January as well on the long-term financial planning. So I'm not complaining. I'm just letting you know that I really have a lot going on, and it is overwhelming at times. So there's only so much I'm going to be able to do.
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, to be honest, on the long-term planning one, I have said for now going on 3 years that the only way that model is going to get built is with outside consulting help. There's just not enough hours in the day. I mean, even Don Pyatt was adamant that he didn't have hours to build that model, just so you know, like just because unfortunately it is such a big conceptual time sink in terms of building the model.
Just so you know, I'm going to have a different approach to it, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, then we'll do it another way. You know, but the model that I kind of use, and I'm not going to get into it, I'm trying to really simplify some of the things here because it's really not complicated. especially for the the large projects. So I will be working on something on that I've used in the past.
That's great.
So,
That is a big job, at least as described by the members on that long-term planning committee. So I'm glad you have a way of simplifying it for sure.
aspects of it, not the whole thing, just certain aspects of it. My first goal, I don't want to, I don't want to create expectations, but, I'll initially just be focusing on the larger borrowing capital projects.
Well, we'll make sure that you don't forget about OPEB. I'll tell you.
Oh,
that.
I won't, trust me, I won't forget about OPEB.
The other thing is that I think Brian Host could be a help. He's really been actively immersed in that whole long range planning and certainly understands. He's not a programmer by any means, but he understands the intricacies of it. And I think he could be a help to you as well. So with that, I don't want to take any more time. Katie, do you have any other comments before we close this?
No, I mean, I guess, Jennifer, what would be most helpful to you in terms of information that we can send you? Obviously found the recommendations. I can certainly send you a copy of the funding policy with the approvals from the advisory committee and the select board back from January 2020. I can share with you.
I guess I'm just really two things. I think Chris showed me at one point, because we did talk about this, there was a funding schedule from OPEB. If you have a funding schedule, was it in a like an Excel spreadsheet?
It's actually embedded in the policy itself.
All right, if you could send that to me, that would be great.
Yep.
Chris might have sent it to me. I did try looking for, again, I've just been a lot going on, moving in 10 different directions. I just looked for stuff today on the website just to kind of look at, prepare for tonight's meeting, and I just didn't find what I was looking for. I got the investment policy, but yeah, if you could send that to me, if it's not too much, that would be great. And I'll definitely take a look at it.
Yeah, and I can send you that funding policy along with the scenario analysis, the one that we finally settled in.
Okay.
That shows the full KMS model behind where that got us in terms of both the 500,000 growing at 3% annually,
Yep.
plus the 50% of the pension roll-off. So I'll send you that model. I can send you, we typically do an annual report to the select board. I can send you a copy of like what we've done in the past in terms of explaining to the select board how the liability has moved, what's happening with the discount rate. We do kind of typically a little bit of a waterfall, taking them from the previous net liability to the current net liability, sort of showing the big changes, whether it's assumptions of discount rate or healthcare assumptions or changes in number of employees. So I'll send you that. I'm trying to think what else. I just looked at my files. It looks like Norfolk County's last assessment that I have is from January 2020, which means that they probably have one from January 2022 that I just don't have a copy of.
Well,
So
usually it should be, it should be on their website.
yeah,
So they upload everything to PERAC, they upload everything, because PERAC's the one that actually does the assessment, does the
Yeah.
evaluation. And so that's uploaded to the website. All those reports are there. But usually we will get a letter. And it's usually around this time of year. So I don't know if it's gone out yet. I'm trying to remember in Falmouth. I got the letter usually around November, December of
Yeah.
what the funding schedule is.
okay. Well, I'll be curious to hear what that lands out, but I'll try and do a little digging just to get that, because I realize my files aren't up to date. I have up to date actuarial reports, but I don't have up to date Norfolk County reports. So
Yeah, they're all on the website. So whatever's on the website should be the most up to date.
okay, it's great. And if there's anything else in my files that I can think of as I go through, I'll send it. I'll just try and send you one email that has it all in one place so that you
Okay.
can
No, that'd be great.
look back
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, I think I agree with Tim that this is something that we're passionate about. And And we'll certainly want to touch base in January, even if it's just to kind of get a quick update from you in terms of valuation from KMS, what you've heard on the pension front, and then perhaps we can begin to package some of it up in terms of trying to put some communications behind it to the select board.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, I'll have as soon as I start assembling the budget with some assumptions, once I get the assessment and plug in the health insurance increase and things like that, I'll get a better idea of really what I'm looking at with the budget. And here you have like you said with the school department, I need to see how they're calculating the, I think it's 61. The
6139. So it's done based on the year change in available year-over-year revenue.
Right.
Which is kind of it's not really revenue because it's revenue minus some centralized expenses like pension, like healthcare, like OPEB, and then some departments which are cross-funded by both town and schools. And then I would consider it like an EBIT number, like an operating number that's sort of divided 61, 31, 39. But yeah, that will be, and who knows, like hopefully we'll have a good new growth year in terms of new growth revenue from Mary Quill, and that will help solve some of our problems.
Yeah, and I need to really, kind of dig into those numbers. So I will be doing that in the next few weeks.
Yep. Okay.
Well, that's great. And certainly the market is going to come back. Have no fear. The market will
Let's
come
hope.
back. And it will. It absolutely will.
No, it always does. It's just, it really is. You just can't look at your 457s or your 403Bs or your 401Ks, you just have to kind of let it ride.
I know.
It's hard. I mean, when I sat in on the retirement board in Falmouth, it was just difficult.
Yeah.
I knew what we had to do when we went through 2008 and 2009, and we had some really good years, and we're like, great, this is great. And then before I left, it was terrible. The value of our portfolio was just going down, and we actually outperformed PRIT. So we did a good job.
One thing I'm sure you're aware of, Jennifer, is that Cohasset is very reticent to an override. So I'm not sure when we had the last override, but it was a long time ago.
2008.
2008.
Actually, 2008 failed.
That failed.
That was the last override that somebody attempted, and it failed. I think 2007 or 2006 was the last override.
We have some big.
2004 was the last successful override.
Was it?
2004. So
Yeah.
so we're almost 20 years without an override, but we've got big issues coming. We've got town hall, we've got schools, we've got the public safety buildings. These are some big ones that we're probably going to require, if not an override, it's going to require some funding of beyond simply budgeting funding. So
well, yeah, I mean, with the if you go ahead with the new school, new town hall, and the I think the fields, those are the three major capital projects. The way I look at it is that funding those, you really don't have anywhere to fund them other than it's a debt exclusion, right? But a debt exclusion rolls off over time, and it's how you really manage your debt and try to make it affordable to the community. An override will bump up your base, and that's permanent and will compound by 2.5 every year, and usually for reoccurring expenses. So usually when I present finances, I kind of segment, okay, here's a debt exclusion, here's how we manage the debt, this is how it declines over time.
Yeah.
Here's your operating budget, reoccurring revenue for reoccurring expenses. What do we look at there with services to the community? What are the pressures on the budget there? And then you have your other capital, which is another segment, usually funded by the Capital Stabilization Fund or free cash, which wouldn't be as much as a large capital project, because there's not a lot of places to go for revenue.
no, there aren't, and that's why we want to make sure that the OPEB policy that we have in place stays the course.
Yeah, no, and I understand that, and I'm on board. I just, I was just laying the groundwork of, the of how difficult it is when you're using reoccurring revenue and you're funding, and you have such pressures on your operating budget, that's all.
Absolutely.
And,
No.
and I'm not saying it's not a priority, I'm just saying that, you know, I do see a lot of pressures on the FY '24 budget, just from market alone.
No,
you know,
I
just,
fully
you know,
understand.
from the economy, yeah.
All right, well, I don't want to keep you, Jennifer. I know you've
No,
got
that's okay, it was nice to meet you all.
It's good to meet
good to
you.
meet you. And what we'll do is I will be in touch with you after the first of the year. We'll set up a
Okay.
time that's convenient for you. And we'd like to, you know, review the things that we talked about.
Absolutely.
So that'd be great. And
Yeah, I'll have the information from KMS and
Yeah.
then, and then, you know, I will get the information from Norfolk County. I have to go on their website. I should talk to, I actually, I used to go to all their, I used to have to get the educational credits for the retirement board. So I know who the person who runs Norfolk County. I don't know her personally, but I've seen her before. So I should probably introduce myself and,
Sure.
you know, see where they are in the process and,
all right.
and all that.
When I see Chris, I'll ask him to make sure he gets you some help.
Yeah, well, I did hire, I will tell you, everybody's been so nice and phenomenal with all the changeover in staff.
Mm.
Because it's been difficult and we actually did hire somebody that starts a week from Monday. And
Oh,
that's
good.
going to be extremely helpful
Good.
in that position, in that office.
That's great.
And helping with the accounting software. I think that's the biggest issue that I'm having right now.
Well, that's terrific.
Yeah,
Okay,
so we'll get there.
any
Yep.
other comments, Paul, Katie? No,
That's great.
thank you very much, Jennifer.
All right,
Thank
thank you.
Appreciate
Have
it.
I'll see you at town meeting. I guess you all will be
Yep,
there.
we'll see you
Yes,
then.
We'll all be
All
there.
right.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Just the two of us left.
I'm on my way, Paul.
Okay.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Once again, my apologies.
That's all right.